Afternoon, guys. It is Wednesday. It is the 16th of April and it is 5 minutes to 2 in the afternoon. So today's plan is I've got the gym with a friend today before the store opens. So I'm in the gym at 2:15. I've literally just finished doing some work on the computer again, and I have managed to get 4 videos scheduled and uploaded to YouTube last night, or over the last couple of nights. So now I have 4 videos in advance, so I'm actually taking this a little bit more seriously. So instead of waiting till the last minute and trying to get content last minute, I'm actually building up some content of what I've actually been doing. Made the videos slightly smaller as well. Instead of having them 35-40 minutes, it's 20-minute videos, which means that I'm then able to edit it down a little bit more, make it maybe a little bit more palatable, so it's shorter videos, so people will maybe be more engaged in them. I've been working very hard in the background trying to get more content done, different styles of content as well. So you probably hear Hector in the background. The mini dogs, one is in there, and I'm not sure where the other one is. Running about the house probably somewhere. But anyway, the situation for today is we're in the store at 5 o'clock. We're going to try and see if I can get in there for 5 o'clock tonight. It's one of these things again, having young kids. I say young kids, the kids are 7, but they're absolutely wild to the moon, specifically Sam. Sam's going through a ADHD diagnosis at the moment, and he is just, if he gets something in his mind, he's so laser focused that he wants to do it. Pamela she'd already actually said that he wants to be involved in the store every single time that we're going to the store. It's his thing, he wants to be involved. He likes being in the store, he likes interacting with people, which is really good for his age, and he's obviously really interested in learning to do things. He's got a kind of engineer's brain. He kind of looks at things and wants to take them apart, wants to put them back together. Sometimes he takes them apart by accident and doesn't really mean it, but he's a great kid. So is Sarah. Sarah is just super smart. But going back to what we're actually doing tonight, I probably will have a set of gloves, Sherwood M80s, that I'm going to have to work on tonight, try and see if I can cut the fingers out of them and try and replace the fingers in them and try and get that done in a timely manner. We've had them in the store since Friday, but I've not been able to get round to it because of all the other jobs that we've had on the go. So that's something that I will try and get done today. I'm going to try and see if I can get more of content shot and more content banked and then uploaded, because I just feel like it takes the stress and strain off of myself to try and keep the channel up to date. So it means that I'm going to be able to get more content shot now and then upload videos, edit and upload them and in advance. So the last video you would have probably seen what would have been Even Inlines Need Love To. I'm trying to come up with different titles, different thumbnails and show you different things. Wednesday the 16th of April, we actually have meetings with companies tomorrow. I'm still not going to say who the companies are. I'm not going to say what the situation is with them until we've actually had the meetings, just to see how they go. But there is 2 companies that are looking to break into the UK market, and we are looking at an exclusive deal with one of them and just a supply deal with another. So it gives you guys options when it comes to sticks and possibly gloves, depending if they have their samples ready. Again, you can make your own decisions in the comment section who they might be, but until we have clarification, we won't be saying we're keeping it tight-lipped at the moment. But hopefully it's going to be prosperous for both of us, in the sense that we then gain an extra option for sticks, because we're finding in the UK at the moment that the big brands, CCM, Warrior and Bauer, are becoming unattainable for a lot of customers, and they're looking for a performance stick which is more affordable. It's not that we're having a go at these companies. We know that these companies are within the right to be able to charge the prices that they're charging because of the research and development into their products. We just find that the ice hockey equipment in the last little while has went up through the roof, and that's not necessarily what we're looking for. We're not looking to be able to charge astronomical prices. From a store owner point of view, I want to be able to offer you guys ice hockey equipment as cheap as possible. Yes, I'd like to be able to make money off of the selling of equipment, but at the same point, with the way it is at the moment, we don't make that much off of equipment. It's a very cutthroat business. You find that most of the time, if you're buying a product for £100, you've then got £20 VAT on it. Then after you put your markup on it, that product could go to £160 if you're lucky, and then when you sell that product, you've still got VAT on what you sell, what the markup is. the difference between what you bought it for and paid your VAT on, and then when you sell it, you've still got VAT that you have to collect and give to the government as well. It's a very, very difficult thing to do, but you're also then having to pay your supplier for that product too. So you might find, or might think, oh, he's mega rich, he's selling £900 skates. Well, I can tell you that the £900 skates, you might only make £60–70 off of them, but then you've got the VAT on top of that, and then you've got your electricity costs, you've got your suppliers costs, you've got insurance, you've got public liability, you've got all of these things that you've got to take into consideration. And when you've got that to take into consideration, that profit margin that you've made for that product becomes very, very minuscule, and it means that you have to have high turnover of products. Now, unfortunately, because we're going into the summer, we will find that our cash flow is a little bit strangled because not everyone is playing ice hockey at the moment, and you'll find that the tournaments and stuff like that that are coming up, the Scottish recreational tournaments, they will come up and they will be on the 3rd and 4th of May, and the whole way through every weekend of May there's going to be a tournament on. But once that's finished, the majority of the tournaments and the majority of the teams will stop playing, which means that your cash flow up here in Scotland is basically dried up. So that's where we have to try and get creative with what we do. Hence why we're trying to push the YouTube channel a little bit more to try and get a little bit more reach. We actually had a customer message us last night from Wales, and it was a really nice comment that the guy had left. I can't remember his name escapes me, but basically he was asking, are you going to be providing more products on your website? And the answer to that is yes, we are in the process of trying to do more products on the website. The major issue that we had, I don't know if you guys have picked up on it, but we have mentioned quite a few times, the website that we had, the server company failed us. And not only did that fail, the company that we were using previously to actually host the website, it was a company called Theme Forest. You would go into Theme Forest and you pick your theme, and then it was WordPress you would go into, and you would build your website through WordPress. That just started to not work. So we were trying different themes, and the themes were fighting with each other. So the theme was fighting with the apps that went on the website. So we could have an app that would allow for PayPal. We would have an app that would help for web orders, stuff like that, and they were conflicting against each other all the time. And because they were conflicting against each other, it actually meant that we actually had to rebuild our entire website. So when we rebuilt our entire website, we actually changed to a different platform altogether. So we changed to Shopify. Now, the reason why we changed to Shopify was because it got to a stage where we wanted to have more reliability from the website. So we actually have now reliability from the website. We actually have a good solid base for selling on the website, and we don't have to worry about hosting. We don't have to worry about any of the other stuff that comes with it. We just pay our money and then that's it. But anyway, I have just clocked on to what Lily and Holly are up to at the moment, so I'm going to try and get them in because Pamela's outside furniture is being destroyed. Yeah, you two horrors in. Telling you, you can't have 2 minutes peace in this house at all because of these dogs, the kids, Pamela. It's just one of the things. But then again, he's an absolute saint. I would have multiple Hectors because Hector's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, it's getting on a bit. I have to be at the gym at 2:15 and it is 2:05 now, so I will go and I will catch you in the store later on. So we finally made it to the store. It's not exactly the nicest of days outside. It is absolutely bucketing down with rain, and it's quite a cold day as well, considering the fact that it was like 17 degrees the other day. It's now down to 9 degrees today, and it feels like winter again. The weather just doesn't know what it wants to do right now. So anyway, I'll get a couple of sharpenings done and we'll get set up and we'll get these gloves done. Right, so it's now 5:31 and this is me just getting a chance to have a look at the gloves. So what I'm going to have to do straight away off the bat while I'm on talking to you guys just now, I'll just get my trusty blade out. I'm actually going to start taking some of the stitching out of the glove just now to try and see if I can get better access to the areas that need to get done. So Pamela's obviously on a phone call and I think that she's talking about Sarah hurting herself again. Was that after school care?
Yeah.
Was that them telling you that she had hurt herself again?
Yeah.
So that's like 4 days in a row.
So they've got this obstacle course in the gym hall set out, so they're all doing the kind of gym thing, and she had one of those horses that they jump over. Well, she came over the horse, boom, banged her knee. So it's another accident report I need to go and sign tomorrow.
Brilliant. Right, so while Pamela had obviously interrupted me on that, I am in the process of taking off this little bit of the thumb. The grey part is getting removed at the moment. I'm going to remove that just quickly while I'm talking to you, and then I'll tell you what the rest of the plan is. So the plan originally is that this area here, round about here, I'm going to have to burst the stitch in there and take the actual, it's like the thumb loop off of the glove, and then split the back of the thumb to be able to get access to it. The reason for that is it just makes it so much easier for me to be able to get in to sew. Obviously I'm not going to be taking the full palm off, and because I'm not taking the full palm off, I just need access points in the glove. The next part I'm probably going to do after I remove this part and do that part is try and get into the actual finger itself, and then use what's left of the finger as a template. As you may be able to see here, I have my leather or my hide that's left, whatever's left of the hide that I had. This thing was huge, but it's now no longer because of all of the repairs and what I use it for. I use it for everything when it comes to glove repairs, skate repairs. It's been used as comfort edge, it's been used as palm repair. So that's the material that I think I'm going to use. I do have a couple of pairs of sacrifice gloves, and when I say sacrifice gloves, we have a pair of old Easton Mackles M1s that the palm is actually quite good in. Now that palm there, I could actually just cut the finger out of it, but at the same point it then means that I'm actually having to sacrifice a full pair of gloves just for a palm. Now I could use that, or I could just use what I've got in front of me. I think I'm just going to use what I've got in front of me. The other glove that was donated to me actually has a little bit of wear. It's been a left-handed player and it's got a little bit of wear up here, so you can see that it's a bit more rough on that palm because it has been left-handed and it's been on the top of the tape, and they've obviously cut the lip on the top of it as well for extra grip. Now that's not necessarily the best thing to do because obviously you then don't have the protection. Now I can understand why Rippler has done this with these gloves, because the thumb protection has no movement whatsoever. It's at one solid piece from here to here, whereas say for example if you were looking at the gloves that I personally use, there is a split somewhere in the middle of there that allows the glove to actually bend and flex, which means that's why I don't need to cut these. So I may have to use this one, and I may repair this one, and that can go as a spare pair of gloves for someone that is in desperate need of a pair of gloves. There's always usually some extra pieces of equipment lying about if anybody is in absolute desperate need. There's usually a couple of pairs of skates as well that's sitting about. We have actually, believe it or not, just recently got rid of all of the spare skates that we were donated a couple of months ago. You're probably talking there was about 6 pairs of player skates and 3 pairs of goalie skates, and all of them are finally gone. People have either came in and picked them up, or unfortunately we've had to put them into the bin or to the skip because we just don't have the room to be able to keep them. So I alluded to earlier on that it is obviously today is now 8 degrees. So 2 days ago it was 17 degrees, like the middle of summer, and today it's like the middle of winter. And for the first time in a couple of days we've actually had to put the heating on in the store because I can't feel my hands, and Pamela is complaining that it's way too cold in here. You would think with a name Cold Blooded she would get the hint. But anyway, I'm going to go on with these, remove the actual leather. I'll come back to you once I've removed all the glove, all the parts of the glove that needs to be removed, and then I'll give you a wee kind of update. So apologies, I would have been back quicker. I know I say I would have been back quicker, it's been maybe a couple of seconds for you, or literally straight into a transition, but for me it's been 5 or 6 sharpenings and obviously a wee bit more work that had to be done on these gloves. So I have taken the finger out of the glove, as we can see, and I obviously have as well split where the thumb is. So the thumb loop that sits on underneath the stitching has been relieved of its duties at the moment, and the stitching at the back has been relieved as well, so I can get access to sew in a new piece of leather round about that hole. If you look at where the finger is as well, the finger is going to be joined along this part and along here and then up and round, so I actually have to make a template out of what I've taken off of the glove. So the template that I'm going to be using is this this is the finger. There's not really much left at this area. And obviously I have the template already for the thumb, so I'm going to try and see if I can make something very similar to both of these and get them sewn back into the glove as quickly as possible. I say as quickly as possible. I'm obviously going to take my time, I'm not going to rush it, and I'm not going to make any mistakes on it, or try not make any mistakes on it, so I can then get on to the second glove. The second glove isn't as bad. You could realistically get away with a patch here, but I still feel personally that I'm going to just replace the finger, because it's probably better just replacing the finger, because there's less area. There's more area that can go wrong in this area. If this keeps going, it can move right across the finger and then into the palm. We don't want that to happen. We want to nip that in the bud as quickly as possible, and then see if we can get that fixed and done. So I will try and see if I can get this done. I'll come back to you after I've got some of it done, and I won't bore you with the time lapse, because the time lapse will be a long time lapse, and I don't really want that to happen. So I'll come back once I've done a little bit of work. So glove update, I am probably about another 4 or 5 sharpenings deep. Managed to get the template done. So I've got my first template done here. You can see I've got the thumb piece, and here's the old one, here's the new one. That is obviously in place, and I've also decided to do the finger. The template for the finger has already been stitched into place just at the top, just to hold it there, and then I can get further on with it. So it is 7:36, the gloves are still sitting in pieces here. I had Jordan Boessa in for a little skate sharpening.
And a leather. And sorry to break it to you, Santi, I think he's going to be a Mustang. On his retirement. Not right now.
He's not retiring anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. He's got a good decade under his belt. Still to play.
Yeah.
He's too young.
So.
But when he's retiring.
Yeah, well, that could be something that could be on the go. By that time, he might be multi-millionaires and be able to pay my wage. But anyway, right. So I'm going to try and go on and do a bit on these gloves. It's been a struggle to try and get them done the whole night. It's been one of these things where every time I sit down to actually do some work, somebody comes in, whether it's they come in for a sharpening or they come in to talk, or ask questions. So I will go get myself set back up again, get the speedy stitcher on the go, and try and see if we can at least get the finger sewn into these. So it's 12 minutes past 8 and Pamela is bailing out. She's going to go and get the kids, and I'm still here. So she's leaving for tonight.
Yes, it's been a long day.
Yes, a very long day. You'd be happy about the fact that you're finishing?
I am happy about finishing it, I'm just been a long day. Right,
okay. Right, so I'll say bye bye to Pam and come back and see you in 2 seconds. Right, so content wise tonight, I think it's been a bit of a bust. Like I say, I've been chock-a-block busy with sharpenings and some other things that's came in. So far on the glove front, we have half the finger sewn in place. Basically what you've got to do, or what I actually had to do, was I had to put some guide stitches in at the front, just up here, just to hold it in place. I've actually started stitching from halfway along the finger, and then got it all the way down and across and round and up to the gusset. So what I'm actually going to have to do now is sew in from the gusset all the way round and try and see if I can catch the stitch on this finger here. Not that I'm giving you the middle finger, but this finger here, and the inside of the gusset has to be sewn back into place, and then we'll try and get the stitching worked up and round. Try and hold it taut and try and get it as tight as possible. The material that I'm using is actually really quite nice to use. It's quite, like, if you look at it, it's not like normal leather where it's like really stiff and doesn't move a lot. You can actually see there's a little bit of like stretch in it as well, a little bit of give, which is really quite good, especially if you're putting it in a glove. The only thing I would maybe suggest is, or maybe say about it is it might actually be a bit more grippy than a standard palm, just because if you look at right up close, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, this is the back part of it, which is quite furry, whereas this part here is actually quite like it looks like leather. It's quite grippy. So it's one of these situations where putting that on a palm, you might find you get a little bit more grip than normal, and you don't get the how to put it, the slide of the glove along the stick. Some players might like that. I feel like a glove that's very sticky, or like a really sticky shaft on their stick. I personally like a lot of grip on my stick. I tend to find that what happens is now when I shoot, since I've had the hand operation, that my hand opens. So when I shoot puck, sometimes it will open up, but other times, if you're having a good hand day, it's fine, but if you're having a bad hand day, sometimes it opens. So that a little bit extra grip on your stick seems to help, especially with a textile grip on your stick. But anyway, I digress. I will try and get this finger finished, and then I'll come back and do the thumb probably on Friday if I get a chance. I may actually have to come in tomorrow and finish it off. Just depends. Tomorrow's the day we have the meeting with the two companies that we're going to be speaking to, so we'll see how that goes, and we can give you a little bit of an update maybe afterwards in this video. Maybe. If not, it'll be the next one. Right, so I'm back again. This is the final time you'll see me tonight. It is 12 minutes past 9, and finally I have the patch for the thumb in place, and I have the new finger in place, and if I'm honest, I'm actually quite impressed with it. I'm quite happy with the way it's went together. As we can see, it's all been stitched back in at the back. It's been stitched around all the way around here, back at the back of the actual thumb. It's been stitched in place. The new patch has been sewn in, the finger's been sewn in, and to be honest, it feels just like normal. I haven't obviously felt it with a stick yet, but it genuinely feels just the way it should. It doesn't feel any different, which is really quite good, because usually sometimes when you do the repairs like that, it can be quite off-putting. It can feel totally different, but with these ones they actually feel relatively good. So the next one I've got to do is this finger here, but I'll need to do that another day because it is getting on, and I have had multiple phone calls from my son, who is now in a WhatsApp aficionado, who decides to video call you every 2 seconds to say, when are you coming home? When are you coming home? When are you coming home? Can you bring me sweeties? So apparently he's been a naughty little boy tonight, and he's been swearing at his granny, which is not on, so I'm going to have to go and have a little talk to him, I think. But anyway, that's me done for tonight. I don't think there's been enough for one video for this one, so again, I will probably see you tomorrow at some point. If not tomorrow, I will see you guys on Friday.